Can we take cans, disposable items? I thought the river was can ban. How long is the float? What river should I go to? I've been floating the Texas rivers for many, many years. So many questions that I've been asked over the years, and I am here to answer all of my most asked questions. So buckle up, get your notes app out, maybe a beverage, because this might be a long one. Okay, let's jump in. Everything that I will mention will be linked down below. There is a free river guide I have for you as well, and that will be referenced throughout the video quite a bit because it covers so much. Can we take cans and disposable packaging? What river should I float? How long does the river float take? Can I bring alcohol? It depends. It depends where you're floating and what company you're floating with. Let's just define a can ban. A can ban basically means you cannot take any disposable item with you. So no cans, no plastic bottles, no Ziploc bags. If it's considered like a one-time use thing and it's meant to be thrown away, you cannot bring it. So can ban has been put in place on a lot of rivers because of the littering problem. If you do end up going to a river that's not can ban, please pick up your trash. We don't want to lose that privilege. So non-can ban river means you can take these items. You can take plastic, Ziploc bags, cans, water bottles, anything disposable you are allowed to take. Now, on all of the rivers, you are never allowed to bring styrofoam. So no styrofoam coolers, the ones that you used to be able to get at the gas station. I don't even know if they make those anymore, but those are not allowed. No glass and no beer bongs are allowed. So pretty simple rules. No styrofoam, no glass, no beer bong. So non-can ban places to float in San Marcos would be Texas State Tubes. It is my ultimate favorite place to float. I really don't float anywhere else when I am in San Marcos. You can bring all the cans that you want. Just make sure that you pick up your trash. And then if you're in the New Braunfels area, there are not very many can ban options. To my knowledge, just a few places. You can go to Rock and R, but there's only one of the three of their floats that is non-can ban. The Whitewater is a non-can ban as well. That's all called the Horseshoe float. That one is non-can ban as well. And then all the other ones are most likely can ban. So just make sure that you always check the website of the river place that you're going to go to, and they will let you know all the details about what you can bring and what you can't bring. Now, I have info on all of the tube river places that I mentioned in my river guide, so check that out. How long is the float? Well, again, it depends where you go and what company you go to. Our floats ranging from anywhere from 2-hour floats to 6 hours plus. When I say plus, it basically means like it's up to you. Like, do you pull over? Do you swim? Do you hang out? And then get back in, float on. Like I said, in the river guide that I have linked down below, that breaks down a few of the river company options, and it tells you about how long those floats are. Just check their website. It should be updated daily and lets you know about how fast the river float is going to be. Okay, so there are some free options that you can get in the water and float a little bit, but they are usually just either chilling in the water or it's kind of a lot of work, because if it's going to be an actual float that you're trying to do for free, you're going to have to usually still pay for parking, because the San Marcos city limits, Comal city limits, and New Braunfels city limits, I still believe, have non-residential parking fees just to park and use their river and things like that. There are places to like park and then get in the water and then float and then get out and walk back, but that's kind of a lot of work. So if you're going for the first time, I would recommend that you go through a legit tubing company that has a parking lot and tubes for you to rent and a shuttle to take you back to your car. So it's just a seamless and more of an enjoyable float for you. So that's my recommendation, but you do you. Is what should I bring? Well, that is a really, really complicated, loaded question. So I'm just going to give you the essentials here, and I have other videos linked down below that gives you a lot more detail, but the essentials that you cannot go to the river without, I think, would be water. It's super hot out there. You have to take water. A cooler to keep the water cold because it's Texas, or probably any river that you're going to in the summer is going to be hot. So a cooler. Don't just take a bottle of water and put it hold it with you. Like, no, it's not going to taste good. It's not going to refresh you. No. So take a little cooler with you at least. Water shoes, do not take flip-flops. Big no. Flip-flops are really hard to keep on your feet, especially with the current when you try to get into the water as well as out of the water. You're already worried about grabbing your things and not falling and slipping. So the last thing you want to have to do is worry about keeping the flip-flops on your feet. Also, I've just seen flip-flops get lost because they just fall off your feet. Legit water shoes or some kind of shoe or sandal with a strap that straps onto your foot so that you don't lose them, even when you're just chilling in the tube. Sunscreen. You have to take sunscreen and you have to be reapplying that sunscreen when you're out there, especially if you are going on a longer float. What should I not bring? We are kind of already covered this, but no glass, no styrofoam, no beer bongs. I wouldn't bring your phone if you don't think you're going to be responsible with it. I've seen many phones get lost and keys lost, and I'll give you some tips on how to take care of those things, but I wouldn't recommend if you're going for the first time. I don't know, it's really risky. But if you absolutely really need to have your phone and you just don't feel safe without it, what I recommend is to get a waterproof phone bag and put your phone in there, and then also get a carabiner so that way you can have it on your neck as well as clip it to the tube or clip it to your swimsuit, something other than just having it around your neck. I've seen it happen many times. You're on your phone and then you put it in your lap, and then before you know it, you're hitting a rock or a rapid because you don't know the river very well, and you've lost your phone. It happens in seconds. I've seen it happen so many times. Also, they have waterproof cases where you don't even need to necessarily have the bag. But again, I always keep my phone in my waterproof case, and then I have it clipped to my tube just for extra precaution. If you take your key, this is how I have kept my key safe over all of these years. I've never lost my key. Put your key in a waterproof bag by itself. Don't have anything else with it because you don't want to be reaching in and out for it and then risk losing it. So put it in the phone bag by itself, and then put that key bag into your main bag. I even clip the key bag to my backpack inside. Then I clip my big backpack to a tube. That way, if my tube were to flip, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, the tube might flip, the backpack might fall out of the tube, but it's clipped. So it's not going to sink. It's not going to float away. That is how I've kept my key safe over the years. I want to float next to my friends. Can we tie together? Yes, but no. So tying together is not a good idea because a lot of people get stuck. And when you get stuck, people flip, tubes flip, coolers flip, you lose all your things. You lose your beer, your water, your snacks, your phone if you're not holding on to it the right way. There's just a bigger chance of you and your group getting stuck because you're such a big group. We tie together using rope and carabiners. That way, whenever we come up to the rapids, we unlink really quickly, and then we usually only go 1 to 2 people to an attached group once we're on the rapids. Can I take my own tube? Do I take it blown up? I feel like that used to be a lot more common where you had to go to the river with your tube blown up, but typically you only have to do that if you're trying to do like a free route, you know. They have inflation stations there, or you can rent their tubes there. So I prefer to take my own, and I take the Intex single tubes. They are my favorite. There's a headrest, there's a bottom, there's a cup holder. They're pretty durable. I have floated with these for years, and also check out my river guide, and I will tell you all the river tubes to avoid. But that's my favorite. And then your other option is to always just rent. Can I bring my kids? Yes, you can bring your kids to most river companies. Check the website. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but always just check the website for all of these little micro things. But I would suggest if you're taking your kids and you're wanting a more family-friendly environment and not so many like partiers, because there are a ton of partiers on the river, I would suggest to go during the week and or so like Monday through Thursday, it's typically not going to be too crazy. If you go Friday through Sunday, I would go at when it opens. Fridays are sometimes not too bad, but you just never know. But go as soon as the river company opens, get on as soon as you can, and then float straight through, or just, just keep an eye on the time. But yeah, just take plenty of snacks and water and juice and things like that for them. Again, remember, if you're going to a Kanban river, you can't take Capri Suns or like juice boxes or things like that. So you have to plan accordingly for that. But yeah, you can absolutely take kids. Can you take dogs? Yes, you can to most rivers, but there are some companies that say no. I would just suggest to make sure you have a tube for them to sit in. Usually you can rent the Tube Pro cooler tubes. It's a tube that the cooler is meant to sit in. Though that one's a really good one for the dogs because it's such thick PVC material that their nails have a harder time to puncture those. And you can like put a little water in it for them. I would also suggest to not have them swim the entire time, especially if they're not used to it. Just have an option for them to float and then have an option for them to swim if that is what they want to do. And then also make sure you take a little bowl and fresh water for them because it's very hot out there and you don't really want them to drink that river water if they don't have to. So what's your number one tip? I can't really pick just one, but I feel like if I had to just give you a few quick ones, it's the things I already mentioned: water, sunscreen, and water shoes. Also, I would highly recommend to take a paddle with you. I will not go to the river without my paddle. The other one is don't tie together. This was actually a really hard video for me to make because I have so many more tips, but I try to just focus on the main questions. If you have more questions, just ask me down below. I will be happy to answer. And then check out that river guide. It's going to give you all the info that I have. It gives you my river playlist for here on YouTube. It gives you my main river video that tells you majority of the things you need: what to bring, what not to bring, how to do it. A lot of these tips are in there, but even more detailed. It has all my river products in there. So it gives you my Amazon affiliate links, and I do make a small commission off of qualifying purchases if you choose to use my link, which I really, really appreciate if you do that. So thank you so much for watching and happy floating.